Hey, 49ers faithful. Today we are diving straight into one of the most pressing issues facing our team, and that is the seemingly endless string of injuries that has haunted the San Francisco 49ers over the past several years. Ever since Kyle Shanahan took over as head coach in 2017, the numbers have been staggering. The team has lost over 2,000 games to injury during his tenure, which is not only the highest total in the National Football League, but also a record that makes you stop and wonder how a team can endure so much physical adversity and still perform at a championship level. This is not a problem isolated to one or two seasons. It is a long-term pattern that has persisted through multiple rosters, player changes, and even coaching adjustments, and it has shaped the way we view the Niners as a franchise over the last 6 years. When Shanahan was hired, he came with a clear mission: take a struggling team and turn it into a contender. Coming from his role as offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons, he brought with him a vision of a high-powered, zone-heavy offensive system designed to exploit space and force defenses into mistakes. But what quickly became apparent was that the system, while brilliant on paper, requires immense physical effort from the players. High-speed cuts, sprinting, explosive movements, and relentless physicality on every play put a tremendous strain on the human body. Over time, this has contributed to a pattern of injuries that, frankly, seems almost impossible to break. Yet despite all of this, Shanahan has guided the team to 2 Super Bowl appearances, multiple NFC championship games, and has consistently kept the team competitive even when faced with injury after injury. That is a testament to his coaching acumen, but it also highlights just how resilient the players have had to be to even compete at this level. Looking at the historical data, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. In Shanahan's first year, 2017, the 49ers were the 10th most injured team in football. The following year, they jumped to 4th in the league, and in 2019, despite making it all the way to the Super Bowl, they were still the 6th most injured team in the NFL. 2020 brought the absolute worst scenario, with the 49ers topping the league as the most injured team. Even in 2021, when injuries were still rampant and the team was ranked 3rd in the league for games lost to injury, they managed to reach the NFC Championship game. 2022 saw them drop slightly to 9th in injuries, yet they again reached the NFC Championship. It was only in 2023 that the 49ers enjoyed relative health, becoming one of the least injured teams in football, ranked 29th, and making it all the way to the Super Bowl. 2024 returned to the old trend, with the team once again at the top of the injury charts, and now in 2025, the numbers suggest that history may once again repeat itself. This year alone, the Niners are leading the league with 14 players on injured reserve and 85 adjusted games already lost, and we are only in the 9th week of the season. If the current pace continues, they could surpass last year's staggering total of 180 adjusted games lost. The impact on the roster is significant, not just for depth, but for team performance, cohesion, and the ability to execute the game plan. Players like Nick Bosa, out with a torn ACL, Fred Warner with a fractured ankle, Brock Purdy struggling with a turf toe injury, and George Kittle missing large stretches with a hamstring problem highlight the severity and variety of the injuries. These are not minor bumps or bruises. These are injuries that affect careers and alter the way the team functions on both sides of the ball. The types of injuries tell their own story. Since 2022, the Niners have dealt with nearly 300 knee injuries, 280 ankle injuries, over 150 hamstring injuries, more than 100 shoulder injuries, and over 100 calf injuries. This combination of soft tissue damage, ligament tears, and muscular strains paint a picture of a team constantly battling physical limitations, no matter how skilled or prepared the players may be. It raises a question that fans and analysts alike have asked repeatedly: why does this continue to happen to the San Francisco 49ers? Across professional sports, few teams experience this level of sustained misfortune. While other franchises go through injury stretches, the Niners' combination of historical trends, high-performance expectations, and tough playing style seems to create an almost perfect storm for physical setbacks. A variety of factors likely contribute to this pattern. The strength and conditioning approach of the team, the way training is handled, pre-game and post-game routines, and the balance between dynamic warm-ups and static stretching all play a role. Shanahan's system, with its reliance on speed, agility, and repeated high-intensity movements, naturally places stress on muscles and ligaments. The modern NFL, with rules limiting the intensity and duration of summer practices, may also exacerbate the issue as players enter the season without the same level of physical readiness that previous generations might have had. When the season hits full stride, players are suddenly required to perform at 100% without having built up the same level of conditioning during the off-season, which can increase susceptibility to injuries. Then, there are the uncontrollable elements: bad luck, sheer misfortune, and circumstances outside the team's control. The Niners seem to have endured more than their fair share of unlucky breaks, from freak injuries in practice to unavoidable contact during games. Some theories even explore more unconventional explanations, like environmental factors near the practice facility, but regardless of the reasoning, the trend is undeniable. The combination of high-speed offense, physical playing style, league-wide training limitations, and unfortunate timing has created a situation where the team must constantly adapt and manage injuries just to stay competitive. Despite all of this, the Niners continue to demonstrate resilience. Younger players drafted in recent seasons are stepping into roles under extreme pressure, and the team's coaching staff is tasked with balancing player development, in-game performance, and injury management. It is a delicate equation, requiring not only tactical acumen, but also careful physical monitoring and proactive adjustments to prevent further losses. Each game becomes a test of depth, endurance, and strategy as the team navigates an injury landscape that seems almost uniquely challenging. From the defense to the offense, the impact is evident. Key players on both sides of the ball have missed critical time, forcing backups and rookies to step in and accelerate their learning curve. The physical toll on the roster affects everything from play calling to execution, as coaches must weigh the risk of further injuries against the need to compete at the highest level. For fans, it creates a roller coaster of anticipation, excitement, and frustration, as every week brings new updates and shifting dynamics. Ultimately, understanding the 49ers' injury situation requires considering multiple dimensions: the coaching philosophy, player conditioning, game intensity, off-season practices, and an element of randomness that no team can fully control. The historical data is sobering, but it also highlights the resilience, determination, and commitment of the players and staff who continue to fight despite these challenges. It is a narrative of perseverance, adaptation, and the struggle to maintain excellence in a league where physical demands are extreme and injuries are an ever-present threat. As we move deeper into the 2025 season, the injury situation for the 49ers has already begun to shape the trajectory of the team in ways that are impossible to ignore. The roster has been reshaped over the offseason, with a number of young players stepping into prominent roles. Yet the relentless wave of injuries threatens to stall any momentum the team could build. For a squad built on speed, precision, and physical dominance, even minor setbacks in key positions create ripple effects throughout the lineup. When starters go down, rotations are disrupted, timing is affected, and the team's signature plays, those carefully choreographed high-speed movements that make Shanahan's offense so dangerous, become more difficult to execute. Each practice, each snap, carries the weight of the injury history that has followed this franchise for nearly a decade. Nick Bosa's torn ACL, Fred Warner's fractured ankle, Brock Purdy's turf toe, and George Kittle's lingering hamstring issues are not just statistics. They are monumental shifts in the team's capacity to compete. The defensive line loses its anchor without Bosa, impacting the pass rush and run defense simultaneously. Warner's absence in the middle of the field alters the entire defensive communication and coverage scheme, placing additional pressure on younger linebackers who are still learning the system. Offensively, Purdy's absence creates instability in the quarterback rotation, while Kittle's limited availability reduces options in the passing game and diminishes the team's red zone efficiency. These are not isolated issues. They are systemic challenges that the coaching staff must continuously manage, balancing risk, rest, and opportunity for both seasoned veterans and newcomers. What becomes increasingly clear as the season unfolds is that this is not a problem that can be solved purely by conditioning or tactical adjustments. While the team's strength and conditioning staff is undoubtedly working at full capacity, managing player workloads, recovery protocols, and injury prevention strategies, the nature of professional football means that certain risks are unavoidable. The high-speed, high-impact style that makes the 49ers so effective also makes them highly susceptible to soft tissue injuries, ligament strains, and other physically taxing setbacks. Practices, even when carefully monitored with GPS tracking and advanced metrics, cannot completely replicate the intensity of in-game scenarios where split-second decisions, contact, and momentum collide. The physical demands are relentless, and the margin for error is minimal. In addition to these physical factors, there is the issue of timing and preparedness. NFL rules have limited full-contact practices during the off-season, and players often enter the season without having achieved the same level of conditioning or contact experience that previous generations enjoyed. When games begin, they're suddenly asked to perform at 100% while simultaneously managing the risk of exacerbating previous injuries. This modern approach to training, combined with Shanahan's demanding system, creates an environment in which injuries are not just probable. They are almost inevitable. Players must adapt quickly, coaches must strategize intelligently, and the team as a whole must endure a season-long balancing act between aggression and preservation. The younger players, many of whom were drafted in the last 2 years, are under immense pressure to fill gaps and maintain competitive performance. Their development is accelerated not by design, but by circumstance, as the team cannot afford to have starters missing extended time. This creates both opportunity and challenge. While these rookies and sophomores gain valuable experience, they also face increased injury risk themselves due to the intensity of play and lack of seasoned conditioning for sustained NFL competition. Watching them navigate these challenges is fascinating, as it highlights the resilience, adaptability, and mental toughness required to survive in such a physically punishing environment. Even with careful planning, monitoring, and adjustment, the cumulative effect of injuries continues to shape the 49ers season. Offensive line chemistry is disrupted, defensive rotations are constantly altered, and special teams units must compensate for absent contributors. Play calling may be adjusted not solely for strategy, but to protect vulnerable players or to accommodate backup personnel who have not yet mastered every nuance of the system. These adjustments ripple across every facet of the game, altering outcomes and impacting the team's ability to achieve consistent dominance week after week. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling in the Bay Area, and if the rumors are true, the San Francisco 49ers may have just made the move that elevates their defense into an entirely new stratosphere. Sources close to the team hint that JARIUS SNEED, the dynamic cornerback whose coverage skills and playmaking ability have turned heads across the league, is now set to don the red and gold. If this pans out, the 49ers secondary could be transformed almost overnight. SNEED's reputation as a shutdown corner precedes him, able to shadow top receivers with ease, disrupt passing lanes, and deliver crucial turnovers. His arrival would pair him with an already formidable defensive backfield, creating one of the most intimidating secondaries in the NFL. For a team that has long dreamed of balancing its high-powered offense with elite defensive firepower, SNEED could be the missing piece. But the buzz isn't just about his coverage stats. Insiders say SNEED brings leadership, versatility, and a fearless attitude that could influence the entire defensive unit. Imagine a 49ers secondary where quarterbacks hesitate before throwing, where big plays become the exception rather than the rule. Analysts are already speculating that SNEED's presence could force opposing offenses to rethink game plans, giving San Francisco's pass rush even more room to dominate. Of course, at this stage, nothing is official, But the mere chatter has fans buzzing across social media, and whispers in locker rooms suggest the organization is quietly orchestrating a defensive renaissance. If the deal closes, the 49ers may not just be aiming for playoff contention. They could be signaling a serious Super Bowl run with a defense capable of shutting down any aerial attack. Whether SNEED's move to San Francisco becomes reality or remains the hottest rumor of the offseason, one thing is clear. The 49ers secondary just entered the conversation of elite in ways it hasn't seen in years. And for fans craving defensive dominance to match their offensive firepower, the speculation alone is enough to get hearts racing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.